Hello and welcome to Sullivan's Farm. There's been a bit of activity since the last video, so we might have a closer look at that in this video. The lads arrived, they started digging out, hit stone and rock. There's a nice bit of that left over, we'll go out and look at that in a minute. All of a sudden the floor was poured, and then all of a sudden the shuttering was up to pour the first half of it, shuttering was up to pour the second half of it, and all of a sudden the shuttering was down and back up on the trailer. And in the space of a week, the whole layout of the yard has changed more than it has done in the last 30 years. I'm still kind of gobsmacked at just how much work you can do with a track machine and a digger and a couple of men who know what they're doing. And that, I'm not including me in that. It wasn't me who knew what I was doing. So as well as the tank, the roadway, the driveway in was cleared a bit as well. Mostly because the lads pouring the concrete had to back down there, back over there, and then pour it from there. So yeah, that's another kind of a handy job that's done as well now. So what we have, as you look at it there now, is 100 feet by 14 foot 6 slat and 8 feet deep. We would have went wider with the slat, but as I said, we hit a lot of rock, hit a lot of stone, and it would have taken a fair bit to dig out more of that. So like overall, I'm delighted with the job. And I'm happy that that size will do for the number of cows that I want to milk. If I need more storage capacity in a couple of years, I'll have to put in another tank in a shed someplace else anyway. This is the man who hasn't the first one finished. But the cubicles here will only fit, and this shed will only fit a certain amount of animals. So I'd have to build another shed anyway, or put up another kind of a shed someplace to fit the extra animals that would need that extra storage. So I'm delighted with the size that this is. We'll finish this video with the next stages, including the slats and what else we're going to do around here in the yard. But first, I suppose it isn't just all about the building either. There's plenty other stuff going on around at this time of the year as well. So we'll have a quick look at that. These are the last 3 heifers in the place then, to be fattened and finished from 2022. So they're on their finishing diet at the moment. They're getting their cubes in these very, very fancy feeders. She's about the best of them. She'll come into her own all right. This one, she nearly gets a pension here. Well, she won't. She's the same age as the others, but sure, it'll be hard to put a finish on her. We don't go too close. But yeah, she's not exactly going to be beef to the heel anyway, like a Mullingar heifer, that's for sure. And this third one then, standing up, I think I showed you her a couple of times now. Yeah, she's still coughing. She still won't give up them fags. But they'll just about pay for themselves. They'll be here nearly 2.5 years, plenty of work with them. One of the reasons I want to go milking cows is because of these 3. No disrespect to the animals themselves. And if I could get enough of them directly from dairy farmers, there's a nice few bob out of the calf to beef. Plenty of work, but there's a nice few bob out of them. But if you have to go buy them at the mart, there's a good chance you'll end up with these, because the fellas selling calves at the mart generally don't sell them directly to other farmers. The good ones are sold directly from farm to farm. Eventually they'll turn into something, but you need to be very, very patient, and you need to be prepared to make little or no money off of them. So one of the reasons that I want to go dairy farming, I have a little bit more control over what goes on and what doesn't go on here. Show you this, I'm very proud of it as we're passing. I cleaned out the yard and all the old muck was in it there last week too. So yeah, it is the little things, isn't it? It is the little things. These are the cubes I'm giving them then, Super Bull nuts. I've used them for the last 10 or 12 cattle I finished. I don't do any research trials comparing different types of cubes and all that kind of thing, but they seem to be killing out well on that one anyway. So it's working for me. It's just under, I think, around the €400 a tonne in the small bags, and I won't be finishing cattle for a while. I think there's 4 more of them, 4 more Angus, and there's 1 Frisian lad over there still that I'll be finishing maybe September, October time. But after that, I won't be finishing anything around here for a while again, and I'll use those again, I'd say, for those last 4. It's working for me. The small bags suit because I'm not feeding huge numbers. It's kind of dusty there. It's working for me. I can't say more than that. It's very obvious when you say it out loud, but I keep those small bags in the meal bin because it keeps the mice and the rats away. It's sealed, so it's handy. Now it's awkward lifting the bags in and out, but at least it stops me screaming and roaring about the mouses making holes in it, so we'll keep doing it. While they're eating, then we look at another issue to be solved around here, and I've shown you this and whinged about these for a long time now. These are the ducks in that field where the multi-species grasses were sown a couple of years ago. I'm kind of burying my head in the sand a little bit and hoping they'll go away, but I think there's probably only a nuclear option here now. I don't really want to, but what can you do? That stuff is the nuclear option, and I don't know if we'll do it now because the thing should have been grazed off and the timing would be right then and all, but we are doing a bit of it here. This is where the fodder rape was all winter, so rightly or wrongly what I do is let grass and weeds come back on it and then try and catch them with the spray rather than just spraying straight away on clay, which would be a bit silly, or not spraying, which again, it just gives you a second chance to catch more of the weeds. So we'll spray this off early next week, give it 2 weeks, spread lime, and then we'll reseed it. There's a little bit of this around as well now, having tidied up where the slurry tank is going and the new roadway into it and that kind of thing. But once we get a chance, there's a local man deals in scrap or looks after scrap, and he's been here before and we got on well. So when it's all said and done, we'll get those bits out of the way too and tidy up the place. Like, I'm not kind of obsessive about keeping the place tidy, but if something isn't needed and it's kind of half in the way or I don't like the look of it, then it's going, and that's that. So we'll get around to those little jobs as well. There's a few more bits to be tidied up around there too. They're old cubicles that were in the 3rd span there now, where in the green door there, where the parlour is going now. So again, we'll bring those down, we'll put them close beside the road to make it easy for Bim, and yeah, we'll tidy those and get them out of the way too. So quick look here, some of the stone that came up from digging out the tank down there. So yeah, it'll be handy. This is where we'll be turning, this is where the milk lorry will be turning. So we level it all out, the milk lorry will come in over here behind that car. That's some car, in fairness. He'll come in over there in that gap here. I'm not sure what way he's going to turn, but he'll have plenty of room and he'll have hardcore underneath him. So in that gap, in, turn around there, that'll all be level, and back in and take out more of the millions worth of milk that I'm going to produce. Somebody said to me, when you're digging out a tank, you'll either hit rock or you'll hit water, and we hit both here, but thankfully there was more rock than water. So we have plenty stone for roadways and backfilling and tidying up where the bulk tank man will be turning to. It's another little job I took down. Finally got around to taking down all those blocks that were along there. Slowly but surely adding the green mesh and tidying up the rain chutes as well. Now one of them's busted. I have a few spare bits that I gathered up, and it's hard to find them. It's hard to find them, so these are odds and ends, and what I've done before is just use the metal holes there, put a hole into here, join them in, and then just put a little bead of the silicone there, and it's working. There on the other side, fixed up all those a couple of years ago, and it's working. So when we have the time, when the rest of the work is done, we'll get around to that as well. There used to be a concrete water trough there, and I took it out and I put that in instead. And geez, I was as proud could be of my work. Drilling the holes, putting in the bowls, getting it level, the whole lot. And I'm going to have to take that out as well now, because it's not big enough for when cows are here. So I won't put the same concrete one back in there, but I'll have to put something of a bigger one back in there, all right. So you just never know what way the wind will blow. We'll have another look at the tank here, so, and a few other bits and pieces that need to be done. But yeah, so far so good anyway. It's as I said, some work done in a week when you have the right machine and the right people. So there's lots of rock. Anyway, that'll be used to backfill in around there. Hard to imagine it now, but that's where the parlour is going to go. There's plenty of rock there too as well. And the levels, we're kind of going with the level, you can't see it there now, for that second span, the middle span. So there's going to be scrapers there eventually, and they'll come out on top of the slat and put all the stuff out onto the slat there. But yeah, a bit more work to be done then leveling up, because up there the first span is a bit higher, so we might have to cut back into the concrete a little bit more to try and get the levels of it right. Like, you can have some bit of a fall with scrapers. I think about 3 weeks now. Peter was saying earlier for that to go off, and we'll get the slats on it, and then we'll start backfilling after that. I shouldn't be admitting this, but I'm useless when it comes to bargaining or bartering or fighting over the price of it. And one thing I do is price around for anything I'm going to do or anything I'm going to buy, and that gives me some kind of reassurance that I'm doing okay price wise. So I've priced slats with a few different people, and I'm happy to go with a local man I was talking to yesterday evening, and what we decided on was a 14'6" slat. Obviously that's the size of it. They're going to be heavy duty, so the tractor can drive on them now. Not that I'm planning on driving on them an awful lot, but sure, look, if there was a cow down inside in the cubicles there, you might have to drive in on the slats. And there's going to be a dairy grip on them as well, because there's going to be heavy cows, heavy and calf cows on them, and we don't want them falling or anything like that. So they'll be put on, I think, in about a fortnight's time, and then they'll help hold the walls in place as the backfilling starts. And we'll start trying to set up, get levels right on the other side over there then with concrete. When the trailer is gone, we'll see it better. But there will be a feed barrier then on this side too. So cows will be in the cubicles there. They'll be in the straw bedded shed there when they're going calfing, and we'll put calves in there too. And then on this side, this is where they're going to come out to eat. The feed barrier will run along this side of the wall. So we'll put a concrete apron kind of out maybe to where the hole is now. Again, this is the plan. We'll see the reality. Where we will put the bales then is depending on how much room we have. And the plan is to stack the bales here. Now again, they're not going to be on concrete, so I won't be stacking them any more than 2 high. But once the bales are there, it'll just make it easier then to feed them, rather than having to bring them in from up there, which is what I was doing last year. So all these little things hopefully will add up, and they'll save time. They'll save wear and tear on man, and they'll save wear and tear on beast, and they'll save wear and tear on machine. And that's ultimately, I suppose, what we're all trying to do here. There's going to be 2 agitation points then. One definitely up at that end, because the man emptying the slurry will be able to back down up there, and possibly one in the middle as well then, because if we put it at the other end, all this area will have to be banked up. Like, not the biggest job in the world, but like, if it's not going to make much difference, we might just back down with the slurry tank into the middle there. But all these things will be decided. I'll talk to a few different people again, and we'll figure out what's the best way to go about it, or as best as we can figure it. There's rain forecast for tonight and tomorrow, so we won't be cutting any silage for the next few days. But once that rain passes, we'll be turning thoughts to in here then, and the first cut of silage, not this paddock, but the farthest over one there. So try and get some of those bales made that we were talking about a minute ago. I'd be always getting ahead of myself. I'm talking about where to put the bales, and we haven't the bales cut and made and wrapped yet. But anyway, it'll all get done. It's hard to see it in the dark there, but the topper is still backed into the first span here. And what I forgot to do before the lads started digging was to take the topper out. So I'm not going to be able to back in there now, and the slats won't be in place for another while. So what we'll have to do is just open this back door to the cubicles, and we'll be able to lift it out somehow. It's just facing the wrong way, but yeah, we'll figure it out. We always figure these things out, and I'm just admiring again the job the lads did. They didn't just dig the hole, but they did a nice bit of clearing around here too. We level all this, throw down that trunking, and it might be nice again, having the first one finished yet, but the next building job might be to put a little roof over this area here where I'm standing, to be handy to back the tractor, another few bits of me. Start again, to be handy to back the tractor in here, and a few other bits of machinery as well. I should have said at the start to John Behan and his son Peter and JJ, who was driving the digger, did the work here, and top men, couldn't recommend them enough. No messing, in, did the job, and that was that. I stuck my head in at different times to kind of admire the work and see the work go on as much as anything else, and said if there was anything I could help with, to give me a shout. There wasn't really, so I stayed out of the way, and I wasn't going to be looking over anybody's shoulder, especially when there's no need. I'm sure that's not a nice experience. So top men, we'll see him back here in a couple of weeks to do the backfilling, and we'll see what else needs to be done then concrete wise. That's it then from this video. Thanks a million for watching. A lot done, a lot more to do, and soon we'll be ready to start milking cows. We'll have 20 years to go then of milking cows, and after that we'll have our money made. We'll be retiring to the sun. But sure, look, we might make a few more videos between now and then. Thanks a million for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Good luck.